Valverde is in trouble. Reus loses his cool. There's familiar names on the score sheet, a news roundup, and today's Emoji Mondays. There are more coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host, Matt Frodo. You are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. So first off, and to Barcelona's poor form, which keeps on dragging on. After a pretty poor performance against Dortmund in the Champions League in midweek, where they were lucky to come away with a point, they've lost 2-0 to Granada. This just sums up Ernesto Valverde at the moment, that he can't get things right. So many fans have been calling for his head, and it's now obvious that tactically he is just so inept that all he ends up doing is just throwing on Lionel Messi to try and solve all of Barcelona's problems. There was so much space for Granada to counter over the weekend. Griezmann was completely ineffectual and has only had one shot on target on all of his 4 away games for Barcelona. But aside from the attack being pretty poor, it looks like they're relying on Ansu Fati as well to pull something off when he's only 16. In the midfield, they keep on swapping around as well. There's been 6 different midfield trios for Barcelona this season, all of them proving as ineffectual as the last. Frankie de Jong doesn't seem to be able to settle into a rhythm. Sergio Busquets doesn't look like the same kind of player. And when it comes to Arturo Vidal and Arta and even Ivan Rakitic, none of them seem to have any of the answers. It's a completely disjointed team, which really makes you wonder, are Barcelona even favourites for the Champions League or for La Liga this season when there are so many other promising teams around Europe? In the rest of La Liga, well, Zinedine Zidane can breathe a sigh of relief. This weekend, his Real Madrid side pulled off a fantastic 1-0 victory over Sevilla, who were top of the league. And coupled along with this, the fact that Atletico Madrid dropped points at home to Celta and of course Barcelona's loss, Zidane can breathe a little easier this morning. My only question for Barcelona fans is, who's going to replace Ernesto Valverde? We spoke about this before, and it's going to have to be someone who knows the club really well and who knows what it means to be Barcelona manager, playing the fluent attacking football that the likes of Johan Cruyff put into play so many years ago. Xavi has said he'll come back and has no problem managing his former teammates, but I think they want to go for someone a little bit more experienced. Who should be in charge of Barcelona next? You guys let me know your thoughts down below. But next up, moving from La Liga to the Bundesliga, where Marco Reus completely lost his cool in a post-match interview after he saw his Dortmund side concede a late goal and draw 2-2 with Frankfurt. The reporter asked consistently about the mentality of the Dortmund squad to Marco Reus, who is the captain, to which he replied he's sick of the same bullshit week in, week out about questioning their mentality. And honestly, I kind of agree with him. There's so much to be said about mentality in football, about staying strong, about holding on to leads, about losing leads. Believe me, Spurs are all about that questioning at the moment, having dropped their second lead in a week. Having seen their 2-goal lead race against Olympiacos, they went 1-0 up against Leicester before losing 2-1. But is it all about mentality? If you're consistently doing it, yes, I kind of understand that from Spurs' point of view. And if the other team is consistently on top, well, you're going to expect that sooner or later they're going to score a goal. If you just pinpoint to one goal scored in the last minute against Dortmund and then question their mentality, I'm not so sure it's such a valid argument, and I kind of stand on Reus's side. For example, Liverpool had a great win this weekend against Chelsea, 2-1. Mason Mount had a great chance to score in the last minute but missed. If he scored, does everyone bang on about mentality and that Liverpool threw away a 2-goal lead? Probably not. So the fact they even let him have a chance in the first place should give you more of an answer. The fact that Mason Mount missed is neither here nor there for Liverpool and the state of their mentality. So again, calling out Reus and Dortmund for that is a little bit harsh. If there are things going wrong on a bigger scale, like they lost to Union Berlin last week, I can kind of accept it. But saying they lack mentality just because they conceded a late goal doesn't really sit well with me. Of course, they'd be even stupider if they went out and attacked. Then they really would have not much sense. If they went looking for a third when it was just 2-1. But if you sit deep, defend and try and protect the lead, well, chances are there's going to be an opportunity for the opposition. But talking of that Liverpool-Chelsea game very quickly, there was an onslaught which Liverpool just managed to escape after N'Golo Kante pulled one back for Chelsea. He, not a regular goal scorer, unlike the rest of Europe, where there were so many names you just expect to see on the score sheet, and there were. First off, Robert Lewandowski, no stranger to finding a goal or two, managed to grab 2 for Bayern Munich as they beat Cologne 4-0. This means he has 10 goals in Bayern Munich's 6 competitive games this season, 9 of them in just 5 Bundesliga games. Sergio Aguero, another one who finds the back of the net, was on the score sheet as Man City absolutely demolished Watford 8-0. This game was utter ridiculous. Another big name you probably wouldn't find on the score sheet last season, but definitely this season, is Romelu Lukaku, as he scored the Milan derby to take Inter Milan to 4 wins out of 4 at the top of the league. And Neymar, who's actually gaining my respect a little bit, managed to score another late goal to give PSG another late win. They beat Lyon 1-0, and it was was just a fantastic goal from Neymar in the last few minutes again, much like he did last week against Strasbourg. Don't get me wrong, I haven't completely forgotten he's been a crybaby all summer. He's a bit of a diver and he whinges all the time, but he's still a fantastic footballer. And if you completely ignore that, well, you're missing out on watching a pretty spectacular player play. I'm not quite sure he's the third best in the world at the moment, although I have previously said he is definitely up there. But if he keeps producing form like this and pulling PSG out in the very last minute, well, he'll certainly gain a lot more recognition in the footballing world. On the pitch, that is. So now we come up to the rest of the day's news and transfer news, where Daniel Marlin's goal for PSV means he now has 7 in the last 3 games. He managed to get an equaliser against Ajax. Tottenham are waiting to see whether Jan Vertonghen's form improves before deciding to offer him a new bumper contract. They will be offering Christian Eriksen a new one, though, to warn off the likes of Juventus. Marco Silva has sent Everton scouts away to look at Leipzig Yusuf Poulsen, and last but not least, Mario Balotelli, the enigma himself, could be making his Brescia debut against Juventus on Tuesday night. So next up to Friday Feels, where you guys left your predictions in Friday's Daily about the weekend's football, and Nina Tian guessed that Liverpool would beat Chelsea by 2-1. Rafael Garrett guessed that Inter Milan would beat AC Milan 2-0, which, as I mentioned before, they did. And The Vanishing Troll, a great YouTube username there, guessed that Real Madrid would win 1-0 over Sevilla, and thanks to Karim Benzema, they did just that. So lastly but not least, we come to Emoji Mondays, where we have the best player, the worst player, and the best victory of the weekend, all summed up in one emoji. So for the best player, I'm going for Kevin De Bruyne. I mentioned the Man City game earlier. His crossing, his assisting, his passing, his finishing is unbelievable. The assist for the first goal, I'm going to stick my neck out there, is the best assist I've seen in the Premier League. It is unbelievable. As for the worst player, we've already mentioned him earlier at the top of the show, Antoine Griezmann. An absolutely shocking performance and definitely not what you'd expect for over £100 million. He provided absolutely nothing for Barcelona despite moving across the whole front three and really was a blunt object in attack. And last but not least, the win of the weekend does go to Real Madrid. So much is said about how they were lacking in form, but they've gone to table-topping Sevilla away, won 1-0, kept a clean sheet, and now they are still unbeaten in La Liga and things aren't looking so bad. So that's all from me for today, but if you guys want a more in-depth view on the weekend's topics surrounding all of the football, look out for our show on Monday evening. Well, I'll delve a little bit more into it. But for the daily news, you can leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Smash the like button and click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on Onefootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later.